Hi everyone! Today I wanted to make a quick video on some tips and advice for people who use Photoshop but are curious about switching to Clip Studio Paint. This isn't meant to convert anyone. I think you should use whatever software you're comfortable with and helps you make your art. So first off, did you know Clip Studio Paint has a time-lapse recorder built into it? Just be sure to enable it before you start. It's under File, Time-lapse, and Record Time-lapse. And now, anything that you draw and create in Clip Studio Paint, it's going to make a time-lapse. And then when you're all done with your art, you just go up to File, Time-lapse, and export time-lapse. And you can save it as a video file to post on social media. Pretty cool. Another thing with Clip Studio Paint, there's a lot of windows on screen. But if you want to get rid of them and just have a wide open drawing area to focus on, you can press the Tab key and that'll hide all of your windows temporarily. And you can just press Tab to bring them back. So if you'd like to just focus on the drawing aspect of Clip Studio Paint, just use your Tab key. If you're like me and you just want to assemble your main tools in one spot so you're not seeking out your favorite brushes under all these brush menus, you can create what's called a quick access bar. You can see here I have my select and fill tools up top, my drawing brushes, my painting brushes, my blenders, and actions I like to do a lot like recoloring artwork. To make this window show up, it's under Window and Quick Access, and you can drag and drop any of these windows by selecting its name on its tab right here, and if you drag it off so it's a red square just like that, you'll create a floating window, and if you take any of these windows and click and drag it until you see a red bar show up, then it'll dock it right there on that section, or you can dock it within other windows and have them nested in other windows, or you can have it docked in between windows just like this. Clip Studio Paint is super customizable that way with the UI. Just as a quick aside, if you get your UI in a place that you really like, I'd highly recommend going to Window, Workspace, and clicking Register Workspace and save it as your name or something. I'd highly recommend doing that just in case you lose your workspace and you want to get it back to the way it was before. Alright, so this quick access bar is super duper helpful, and it's super easy to add things to it and customize it too. You can see on mine, I've got my main set right here for drawing and painting, but I've also got a different set for doing transformations. I've got one for doing a quick color fill-ins, and I also have a fun drawer right here. So this is all my really fun brushes that I like to use that aren't necessarily helpful, but they're just like really fun to draw and play around with if I want to make art in different kinds of ways. If you want to make a new set, just right click up here, go to Create Set, call it whatever you want, click OK, and you'll be given a blank one. So you can just click and drag anything you want onto here. So for example, if I wanted to just take a couple tools and just click and drag them onto here just like that, all you do is just click and drag and add them just like so. And now you can easily select them just like that. If you want to move them around, if you want to adjust anything, you can hold Control and drag them around and move them around just like so. If you want to get rid of any of them, you can right click on them and press Delete. If you want to add a menu command, for example, under Edit, Tonal Correction, Hue, Saturation, and Luminosity, which I use a lot, you can add stuff like that by going to the Quick Access menu, clicking on this hamburger icon right here, going down to Quick Access Settings, and then here at the top you'll see menu commands, pop-up palettes, options, tools. So this is basically everything inside of Clip Studio. But what we're going to add is under menu commands, and hue and saturation is going to be under Edit, scroll down, look for Tonal Correction, expand that, Hue, Saturation, and Luminosity, and then just select it and click Add and then close. And now if we were to click on that, it'll bring up our Hue, Saturation, Luminosity panel. So we can quickly adjust colors on the fly as we please, press OK, and we've quickly changed our colors just like that. I use that tool a lot, so I like having this in my quick settings. I love this menu and I use it all the time, and I'm always switching tools around, but generally for the most part, it stays pretty much the same. Layers in Clip Studio Paint work a lot the same as they work in Photoshop. If you think of them like a stack of paper, the top layer is in front of everything and the bottom layer is in the back of everything. Adding a new layer is as easy as clicking this Add New Layer button right here. If you want to add a mask to a drawing, you can use this button right here, Create Layer Mask. This is a way to keep your layer intact but non-destructively erase parts of it. The thing I like about the mask tool in Clip Studio over Photoshop is in Photoshop you have to paint with black versus white, whereas in Clip Studio Paint you just use an eraser versus a brush. So I can literally just grab an eraser tool here, and on my mask that I have selected I just erase part of my art, and if I want to bring it back I can just use a brush tool with any color selected and just paint in color and it'll bring my art back. If I want to turn a mask on and off, I can hold down Shift and click on the mask to enable and disable it, and if you want to get rid of a mask, just select the mask and press this garbage can button right here, and it'll ask you if you want to apply the selected mask before deleting it. So this is asking you, do you want to keep this eraser that you've done on the mask, or do you want to delete it without using the eraser? We don't want to keep this eraser in this case, so I'm going to select delete instead of apply. And that gets rid of our mask. If you want to use clipping layers, which are useful for painting inside the area of the layer below, I use this often for painting flat colors on one layer and then creating a layer above it and then setting it to clipping layer using this button right here. And you'll see a little red icon showing that it's a clipping layer now. So any color or any painting that I do on this layer is now going to only apply to the layer that I have below it. So this can be useful for painting effects on top of my flat art layer, or if I take my ink layer, for example, create a new layer and then make that a clipping layer, now I can do things like color in my line art. And you can have multiple clipping layers on top of each other. So you could keep adding as many clipping layers as you want, as long as they're all in a row. So for example, if I were to unclip this blue layer that I have right here, you can see it's no longer a clipping layer, and also my green clipping layer has disappeared. So all the clipping layers have to be turned on and in a row in order for them to work properly. Some other useful buttons is you can press the lock button if you want to lock a layer so you don't accidentally edit it or select it. If you select lock transparency, that's kind of similar to the clipping layer that we were doing before, but it's a little bit more destructive because now I'm painting on my color layer. I'm not on a separate layer, so I can't turn this green off necessarily, but it does allow me to paint inside the lines if I want to do that. Now, here's a weird button that's not in Photoshop. This is called a reference layer, and it's shaped like a lighthouse because so when you click on it, that'll set this little lighthouse icon next to your layer. So what this is useful for is different tools can say to reference this layer that you have selected as a reference layer. So for example, I'm going to create a new layer above our color layer. And just to give a really simple example, I'm going to go to my paint bucket tool right here. And you can see I have two paint bucket tools up here. I've got refer only to editing layer and refer to other layers. So obviously refer only to editing layer, if I use my paint bucket, it's going to fill up the whole canvas, right? Because there's nothing on this layer that we just created. However, if I select refer other layers and I go down to my tool properties and I look at refer multiple, you can see that that's been checked on. And under refer multiple, there's a couple of options. There's either all layers or reference layer. By default, it'll probably be on all layers, but the way I like to use it, I have it set to use reference layers. So now we're on the layer above it, right? There's nothing on this layer, and our color layer has been selected as a reference layer. So now if I were to take my paint bucket and select this white color, for example, it now fills in all the white, just like that. So if for some reason I wanted to repaint Tails and make him blue, it's as easy as doing that. And because it's on a different layer, it's separated from my flats, so I can keep using my flats as reference. Another way this could also be useful is if we set our ink layer to be a reference layer, and then on the layer below it, now we can quickly fill in our art using our ink layer as a reference. So reference layers can be quite useful. You can use them in a lot of different ways, but the way I typically like to use it is I like to set my color as a reference layer, and then on the layer above it, I like to call this layer shading. And because I like to use the selection tool to select different areas to paint on at a time, what I can do is I can use the magic wand tool, which is kind of like select by color. And again, we have refer to edited layer, or we've got refer other layers to selected, and just like our paint bucket tool, if we go down and we look at refer multiple, instead of all layers, let's set this to reference layers. And now I'm on my blank layer, right? My shading layer. And if I use my magic wand tool on an eyeball right here, and then I hold shift to add to selection, and I select his other eyeball here, or even better, let's deselect that with Control D. Let's turn off apply to connected pixels only. Let's turn that off. And now if I select my eyeball, it's going to select all the white colors. So now I can just use my paint tools and just work on one color at a time without affecting any of the orange. And I'll just do a really rough job of shading this in just to give an example. And then I can press W to get back to my magic wand and select the orange. And now I have all of my orange selected. And now I can really quickly work on the orange color. So before, the way I would used to do this is I'd have a different layer for every single color. That's useful because I could just control click those layers to make a selection out of those colors. But doing it this way with the flats being on a separate color and doing my shading on a layer above it is I can have like really soft shading, you know, using like an airbrush or something, but my selection with the magic wand tool is preserved because it's using the flat colors to make selections out of. So now it's not interpreting this smooth shading that I have on, right? Because it's using the color layer as a reference layer. And it's also useful because I could just turn the shading on and off, or if I wanted to make any changes, I'm not doing any changes to my flat layers. So it's a really non-destructive way to just paint over the top of your art. That's the way I've been painting lately. And it'd probably be a pretty useful idea to set the shading layer as a clipping layer, right? Because I want it to use the flats as a clipping layer to mask off so I don't paint outside the outlines. So this is a really basic setup, but this is essentially how I like to paint. And usually on top, I'll make a layer called HL for highlights. And then here's where I'll add my little highlights to my character usually. Super quick to set up. This is essentially how I tend to work. So again, I just use W for the magic wand tool, select the color that I want to edit, and then just paint inside of that section. Speaking of selections, you may have noticed this little bar down here. That's kind of weird, right? Photoshop doesn't have anything like that. You might hate this, but I actually find this bar extremely useful because I can customize this to do a lot of my common operations from here. It's not immediately clear what these icons are because they don't look like other programs necessarily, but I don't know. I guess you just get kind of used to them. You can also highlight over these to see what the pop-up says about what these different tools are, but the ones that I tend to use the most are this one for transformation. So if you click that, it'll bring up your transformation options. This one right here is for cropping to your selection. This one right here is pretty cool if you want to add a little manga style shading to the selection that you have. And you can also customize this bar much the same way as you could the quick access bar by selecting this button right here, the selection launcher settings. Again, you can add pretty much anything from Clip Studio into this bar using this menu, like your tools, your menu commands. The ones that I've added myself are this cut and paste, which I end up using a lot, and copy and paste. I've also added a couple different transformations. I've got distort here, and I've got mesh transformation tool, which I use a lot. To add these extra transformation tools, they're under menu commands, and then edit, scroll down to transform, expand that, scroll down more, and then you can see distort and mesh transformation. If you want to add those, just select them and click the add button. If you want to move any of these around to rearrange them, you just control and drag. If you want to get rid of any of them, you just right click and you can select delete. Easy as that, super customizable. You can customize this to be pretty much your most useful operations whenever you have something selected. So super duper handy. And if we want to deselect, we just press this left one right here to deselect. And that's all I'm going to show you today. I really am just scratching the surface here with Clip Studio Paint. There's so many features in here, but I just wanted to kind of show some of the different ones that Photoshop doesn't necessarily have. The animation timeline is also way more useful in Clip Studio Paint than it is in Photoshop. And if you'd like to learn how to animate in Clip Studio Paint, check out my tutorial on it. If you'd like to support my work, throw me a buck or two on Patreon. You also get access to our animation Discord community to meet other animators and get feedback on your own work. If you like my tutorials and you want to stay updated for more, be sure to subscribe. Click the bell icon to stay notified when I upload new videos. Click the like button, it helps share my videos around. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And thanks for watching, everybody. Happy arting. Until next time, bye-bye!